So the big question is this: how do small businesses like yours, who feel like you're doing all the right things and going to all the right events, reach the federal buyer in a way that helps you win more contracts? That is the question, and this is the place to get your answers. My name is Neil McDonnell. Welcome to the GovCon Chamber of Commerce. Okay, let's get started. In today's video, I just want to quickly point out what I do when I'm looking at an agency to really do a deep dive. So the Air Force, as an example, I'm helping a large customer go after 25, 50 million more revenue in the Air Force. And I'm trying to teach them about how do they do the research to fully understand? Because when you start getting to this level, you're beyond just little bitty contracts that don't matter with the broader mission. So here you want to take a look at, in this case, the Air Force. This is how I do it. I come into the Air Force, and one of the first places I go is the About section. And inside of About, depending on the agency, you might have to click on it different ways. But here, the Air Force lines up their strategic documents. And this is what today's video is about, is in every agency, one way or another, they're communicating their strategy, multi-year strategy going out 5, 10, 20, 50 years out as they look at what they're doing. And just, for DoD in particular, they're looking at what are the enemies of tomorrow basically look like, and how do we sit there and protect ourselves? So anyways, in here, you see this strategic document set, and this is what I want to draw your eyes to. They talk about the Air Force posture statement. It's an annual document that happens. And I'm not going to go into each one of these and show you. I do that in LinkedIn. I've done reviews, videos. I've done write-ups where I put these documents out. So go join me on LinkedIn, and you can find a lot of this content where I dive deep into it. But as you go forward and you see some of these documents, some of these are older, and I'm going to come back, but it's funny, their thumbnails aren't that great, right? Global vigilance, global reach, and global power for America. But some of the ones that I really want to point out are like this Air Force Future Operations concept. This is an Air Force for 2035, but it was in 2015 when that came out. And then here's a Master Strategic Plan. This is 2015. So I'm hoping they'll do updates to these documents. They're 6 years old, but understand that they're moving forward on a lot of them. And just giving you kind of a brief understanding on some of them, like if I came in here to the view of the Air Force in 2035, and this is a couple of years ago, but they're still operating. Understand that in the federal government in particular, the military, they have to be thinking out 5, 10 years. And so, a document that's a few years old is not old. It's what they're executing on. But when you come down here into the table of contents, you begin to see things like this operational agility, this ability to respond. And it's something I've been telling people about lately, is that it's kind of an old school way of thinking of sales cycles. Absolutely are 12 to 24 months, maybe 36 months. But now the government is moving so much faster because technology is changing so fast. The acquisition approach needs to match that. America's enemies are attacking us, whether it's physical attack, technology attack, et cetera, at a much more rapid pace, trying to figure out how do they come in, think cyber, et cetera. So agility is a huge thing. And the reason I point this out is that small businesses like yours are the ones who can really respond very fast. When you think about a large company, it's hard for them to turn on a dime. They're like a big battleship, right? It takes a long time for them to turn to the right or turn to starboard and begin to course correct. But if you're on a little speedboat, you turn on a dime. And that's what small business is. That's your advantage. And that's the advantage you should be communicating, is how nimble you are and how fast you can change with the shifting priorities of the agency you're targeting. In this case, I'm talking about the Air Force. So when you get into an agency, you're trying to learn as much as you can to be able to communicate what their leadership is communicating throughout the organization. Take a second and find their strategic document set. It's not going to be as organized as this, all of it in one page. I think 7 documents or 6, 7 documents all lined up. But you will find these. And each subordinate agency, like here, the Air Force, where am I? right here, some other sites, these other major commands, right? I showed you the Air Force. Each one of these major commands will have something similar, like Air Mobility Command. If I clicked in there, I would find their strategic plan. So that's my tip for today is take a look at the strategic documents of your primary agency, or in this case, the Department of Air Force at a much higher level. Okay, if you found the content valuable, others will too. And so please give it a thumbs up so they can find it. If you'd like to connect with me personally, do so on LinkedIn. Again, that's where you can find a lot of the strategic plans that I identify and break down a little bit. I put those out on LinkedIn. We often do free training webinars and interview federal buyers. Sign up for the GovCon Chamber's email list right here at www.govconchamber.com, and we'll notify you of those opportunities. Finally, please consider becoming a sustaining member of the GovCon Chamber of Commerce. Help us keep bringing you great content like this for $1 a day. I'm Neil McDonnell, wishing you great success.